will also be addressing the media and the facts that we have up until now. There was an incident that occurred in the parking lot at, at Porter Early College High School. This never happened, anything, nothing happened inside the building. Everything occurred in the parking lot early in the morning. And I want to say that I want to thank our law enforcement officers, our BISD police officers, as well as the City of Brownsville police officers, for immediately addressing this incident out there in the parking lot. The safety of our students and staff at Porter was never compromised. The immediate action by our police officers helped us to take care of this problem immediately, and we were able to put these suspects away from campus, and and our officers have already taken care of the three suspects that were involved in this incident in the parking lot. So I want to thank our officers for their immediate action from both the city of Brownsville as well as our police officers in BISD. And school went into lockdown. Our administration and our teachers and staff immediately put the campus on lockdown, and we took care of our students and the staff inside the building. So it's very commendable by our officers that took care of this issue that could have been worse, but it never became very severe or seriously in campus. And our students and staff, like I said before, their safety wasn't compromised because of the immediate action of our officers. So that's all I have at this time from our perspective of our school district, and our officers are well trained, and this training came into practice today, and it took care of something that could have unfolded in a real bad way, but they took care of it right away. So I'm very thankful that all the trainings that we have had and the networking that we have with our law enforcement officers paid off today. And I'm glad that everything that we've done to keep our students and staff safe was in practice today and in real time, and they took care of business immediately. So that's all I have, and I'm going to turn it over to our police chief, Chief Garcia from BISD, to address some more information, again, based on the facts that we currently have. And I want to remind everyone that this is still an open investigation, and more information will be forthcoming as soon as we know it. So, Chief Garcia?
Yes, sir.
Inflation Reduction Act. Is it really to help the middle class? Morning Glory, a new brunch place up in town. Monkeypox now detected in Cameron County. An officer shooting on the first day of school. It is Wednesday, August 17th, 7:04 a.m. My name is Frankie Olivo, and this is Good Morning Brownsville. I do want to apologize to start off with the audio when we started off the segment with Dr. Renee Gutierrez's presentation. I am working on something new. I was excited to share with y'all, but I still need to work on it, it seems. But thank you so much for your patience. Brunch now has been a thing. Before, we wouldn't wake up until 11, 12, and then, we had the tough decision of deciding, do I want breakfast or do I want lunch? Lately, the place to be has been Lola's Bistro. If you want to feel foofies, if you want to get good quality food, everybody knows either Saturdays or Sundays, you hit up Lola's. Well, now we have Lola's competition. Morning Glory just opened up its doors to the city of Brownsville. It is located at on Washington Street. Uh, so far, what we've seen has been nothing but beauty inside this restaurant. Not only for the architecture, not only for the remodeling, but more importantly for their food. Morning Glory has been met with great reviews so far, and we invite our community to support local businesses. Uh, if you are in the need or want to try out a new brunch place, Morning Glory is the place to be. And once again, speaking with friends that have been there, them sharing their pictures, and the audience and the reception that Morning Glory has received is impressive. So if you are in the mood this weekend to have a great meal with a great vibe and a great atmosphere, Morning Glory on Washington Street, downtown Brownsville, is the place to be. And again, we always talk about having um, having our local businesses thrive. So it is important for us to do our part as much as possible and support local businesses. So Morning Glory, Washington, downtown is a place to go for brunch. It's a packed house. It is well worth the wait. So Morning Glory downtown will be our new spot. If you want to feel foofies, if you want to feel great, have great food, make sure you stop by Morning Glory. COVID-19, variant A, variant B. It seems as if this world is now all about viruses. We have been slowly monitoring and seeing how the United States has been dealing with something somewhat new, monkeypox. Monkeypox is now in Cameron County. The weather segment, the Emmy Award winning segment, did take a hiatus. We did focus on the rain that we did receive the much needed rain that we have received this past weekend. We do anticipate for it to rain again today, but we like to switch it up every now and then. But just to assure everyone that, again, our award winning segment and now the weather uh, will be on for the majority part of our shows, but we do want to support small businesses in our area. So whenever we hear of a great establishment opening up, we'll always throw some love and praise their way, even if that means getting in the way of our award-winning segment for weather. Thank you for asking. Good morning, Cindy. Thank you so much for your time. Say hello to all the beautiful people in the city of Harlingen. But nonetheless, lately we have been kind of at ease. Why? Because COVID, the pandemic, and now we have to deal with something new. Cameron County, their public health department did release a statement that confirmed that on Thursday, a local clinic did have a positive test for monkeypox in Cameron County. Now, the interesting thing was I worked for Cameron County. If there was an individual who did test positive, the Cameron County judge, judge pretty much declared or stated the offices that that contracted the virus. Many individuals have stated, well, if you came in contact with these individuals, go get checked. The difference between COVID and the monkeypox is that the county does not identify. Maybe because the county is, public servants working for the community, and this case of monkeypox probably was just an average citizen. But the things that we have heard about monkeypox as of late is that it is a cause of people coming in close contact with individuals, and it can spread through close personal skin-to-skin contact, which this includes rashes, scabs, body fluids, maybe objects touching one another. And what are the signs for monkeypox? If you have a fever, if you have a headache, if you have aches and pains in your muscles, if your lymph nodes are swollen, you get the chills, if you get exhaustion. Me being from South Texas most of my life, I have felt all these symptoms, and that's because I just had to run from all the stuff that I ate. But nonetheless, if you have these symptoms, it usually starts within 3 weeks of being exposed. And if someone has flu-like symptoms, they usually develop a rash after 1 to 4 days. So this is something very serious that Cameron County is now going to be dealing with in the very near future, since we do have a positive case. And we have heard how monkeypox throughout the United States as of late so far has been predominantly in our LGBT community or others practice that perform or have uh, anal anal sexual relationships. Doctors and medical professionals have stated that they have seen a large increase in our LGBTQ community, and they did advise, hey, if we can stop for a while, just to try and understand this virus better. But nonetheless, if you have the symptoms, if you have cold rash, if you start getting a rash, it'd be best for you. If you get the chills, fever, it'd be best for you to go get tested. And many of the signs and the condition, the skin condition, you will start to see it, whether that be on your hands, on your face. It kind of looks like warts on a person's body, and we see here how the pictures, how bad they can get very very quickly within 2 weeks. And now we have here. This is the state of Virginia or Maryland, if I'm not mistaken. Here we have an individual who has a monkeypox vaccination card, and we all know if anybody wanted to travel for the past 2 years, individuals who wanted to go to New York, they had to have a COVID vaccine card. Are we going to be seeing the same thing with monkeypox? Is monkeypox going to be a worldwide pandemic where it's going to put the world at a standstill? Now, we don't anticipate that ever happening again, where we saw the world literally pause because of a pandemic for 2 weeks. But nonetheless, we do have cases in Cameron County. Is this going to be? And many of my friends started as soon as they asked me, "Hey, what are you going to talk about tomorrow night?" Oh, we're gonna discuss the monkeypox. You're like, "Oh, great! You're gonna do a great job of fearing your community, of fear mongering, and that's not the issue. But we have seen how the media, and many could agree, how the media has used COVID to scare people. Many have argued to say that's how our government is able to inflict fear and are able to control us. Is the media playing with us now? First it was COVID, then it was the variant AB, and now it's the monkeypox. Um, but again, is this our new reality moving forward, which is very, very interesting to note. Now, here at Good Morning Brownsville, we have been very alarmed at what has been happening throughout the world. I have gone on the record and stated that sooner rather than later, we will start seeing a difference in this world. Before there was the 1%, the rich, the middle class, and everyone else. Well, with everything that's going on in the world, with inflation going through the roof, and the world just being a lot more expensive, I am going to state that we will no longer have a middle class. And that is something that the Democratic Party has been trying to push. Their agenda of being a party of the people. Here locally in South Texas, unfortunately, we don't have anything to hang our hat on. We continue to be one of the poorest areas in the United States. And this area has been controlled by the Democrats. Uh, yesterday, President Biden did announce and sign the Inflation Act, which, according to them, was going to be assisting and helping middle class America. And you and I can agree, and we could see it in our city, that if you're either rich, you're in those circles, or you're like us, barely making it, paycheck to paycheck, trying to figure this thing that's called life out. But President Biden and the Democratic Party, with 90 days to go to the midterm elections, they made a key announcement. And the interesting thing that I found that pertained to my profession is Medicare. The bottom two bulletins, starting January 1st, those individuals that are under Medicare will have free vaccinations, and there will be a cap of $35 for insulin. As we all know, medicine is very, very expensive in the U.S. compared to other countries. Again, this is a capitalist market, and we are supportive of that. But you and I can agree that medicine is very, very expensive. We also see how there will be tax credits. Certain individuals will be having tax credits for electronic vehicles. The Teslas, Ford is now introducing their Lightning electric truck of all things. There will be a 50% minimum tax for corporations that make billions of dollars. Renewable energy, they are targeting. The Democrats are targeting the young. They're targeting those green people. They're targeting the middle class and saying, "Oh, look what I'm doing for you. I'm providing opportunity. I'm bringing down the cost of medicine. I'm providing a greener future for future generations." And they did state that this is the biggest climate investment in U.S. history, which the United States anticipates by 2030 that they will cut emissions by over 40%. Now, again, be very skeptical of what our government tells us. We have to dig and read the fine print to be able to really understand, is this Inflation Act really going to help the middle class? Is this our ticket to freedom, to stardom, to be able to say, hey, we're making it in the real world? Well, Ford, of course, those in the know, they always are a step ahead of the government. They have lobbyists. They know what's going to come down the pipeline. Well, Ford just announced that their prices for electronic vehicles were going up. There was a $7,500 credit that the government was going to be giving individuals. Well, Ford decided to raise their prices by $8,000 just to cut the cost. But again, is it my grandparents? Is it you and I who are living paycheck to paycheck? Can we buy a Tesla? Can we go out and ask for an electronic vehicle? I'm in my Porsche. I don't have money to buy a Tesla. I don't have enough money to qualify for those $7,500 credit. And if I did, and if I wanted to go buy a vehicle, an electronic vehicle, to get that $7,500 credit at Ford, well, guess what? It's a wash. The Democrats have said that this Inflation Act will be a way for the middle class to have a fighting chance. We are going to be helping you, middle class. Here, buy a electronic vehicle. Pues no completo, señor. No tengo suficiente. ¿Cómo le hago, presidente? We don't have enough to pay for an electronic vehicle. Am I correct? Don't they go for like 50, 60 grand? And you know, they're worth it. For my grandparents, people, us that are living paycheck to paycheck, the middle class, in all sense and form, we're not able to afford that. Also, they're targeting climate change. They're targeting those green earthers. Well, there's people, fishermen, environmentalists here in the Gulf, by the Gulf, that they are saying that this Inflation Act, this Inflation Reduction Act, is not really helping. Yes, it might cut emissions, but it's affecting us here in the Gulf. Why? Because it seems as if this area for the longest time has been a sacrifice zone. That the Reduction Act signed by President Biden, it does help and have some good parts in it, but it comes at the expense of our environment, and in some cases, a part of our lives. Now, we can't sacrifice historical marginalized parts of the country to future pollution from oil and gas developments. Now, there was a need to amend that Reduction Act. Now, again, they promised us that it's going to help us with our electric vehicles. That's a wash because we have to pay more at Ford. They say that we're going to cut emissions, that they're going to help Mother Earth, but they're also going to affect us here in the Gulf with oil and pollution, which could lead to the lives of us here locally. Also, the 87,000 IRS agents. Couldn't they have hired Border Patrol agents? Couldn't they have hired veterans to help assist with first day of school? So we wouldn't have a shooting. But is this, is this Inflation Act, is it really going to help us middle class, us peasants, us that we live paycheck to paycheck? Take a look at the chart. Starting January 1st, if you make between 100 to $200,000, you would see a tax increase, 97%. If you make 75 to $100,000, 91% of those individuals would pay a tax increase. If you earn 40 to $50,000, 61% of your earnings would see taxes. And these are my grandparents. These are our individuals who are living literally paycheck to paycheck off of Social Security. Those individuals earning between 10 to 20,000, 25% of their earnings will see a tax increase. Again, Democrats have 90 days from midterm elections. The only thing that they have to hang their hat on is this, is a broken promise. This Inflation Reduction Act isn't to help the middle class, ladies and gentlemen. 87,000 IRS agents were hired to pinch more money out of your pocket and mom and pop stores. They're going to scrutinize us poor people. Why? Because we do not have the funds, we do not have the access, we do not have the resources, the money to pay for these top-notch lawyers that find loopholes, to pay for these expensive accountants that teach us how to save money and not pay the government. These big billion-dollar corporations, they have those hotshot attorneys, they have those accountants. Now, is this Inflation Act, is it really going to help the middle class? No. But that is the only thing. That is the only thing that the Democrats have to hang their hat on. And yet again, uh, they are fearing that the Republicans will gain ground in midterm elections and then the presidency for 2024. So while for the press, for the media, this is great. But again, this is a promise. This is a hypothetical promise. We'll see how it ends up. But hey, I signed this into law. Yay! Vote Democrat. The Democrats haven't done much of anything while this current administration has taken over. But yet they're selling us for the midterm elections in 90 days. They're selling us on hypothetical scenarios. Go buy an electric car. We're still going to pay just as much as the real wash. We are not protecting Mother Earth here in the Gulf. We have a big pollution. It affects our environment. The environment affects our lives. 87,000 IRS agents were hired. You think they were hired to protect us? They were hired to take more from us for peasants. Now, BISD opened its doors to its students yesterday, and we start off Tuesday morning getting pictures, receiving feeds of hope and dreams for this new 2023 school year. It was alarming and shocking once we heard that there was a shooting. Yesterday, the city of Brownsville was in fear as reports started to make its way on social media that there was a shooting at Porter High School. And who can forget that day in history where we had that incident at Cummings? We can all agree that this is one of the most tragic events in the city of Brownsville in regards to our school safety, the history of our safety. Uh, we remember that tragic day in which a young individual took a gun to school, and ultimately he was killed for not obeying the officer's order. When we heard that there were gunshots, when we heard that there was a gun at Porter High School, we feared the worst. We said, "Oh my God!" On the first day of school, we're getting reports. Reports right now. Reports right now are and the details of what transpired yesterday morning of this shootout or shooting at Porter are still being analyzed. What we have from from our Brownsville PD, which was released late last night, they stated that there was a call for a yellow. There was a call for a gray vehicle that was stolen. 5 minutes later, there was a call that PD needed to assist the ISD because they had a car shoot into the premises of Porter High School. There was a pursuit, and ultimately these individuals were arrested. We start off today's segment with our superintendent, along with the ISD chief of police, uh, Chief Salceda from Brownsville PD, and also our district attorney, Luis V. Saenz, was present. One thing that we noticed from this incident was this incident happened at 8 in the morning. The ISD and the other law enforcement officials, they were having their press conference 2 hours later. What we heard from Dr. Gutierrez was he painted the picture. And again, you can tell who's a law enforcement agent who has done this before and who was kind of caught with their eyes in the light, deer in headlights, right? What we heard from Chief Salceda and our BISD police chief is, I can't comment on this. This is an ongoing. This is very fluent. Once the information is gathered and collected, we'll be sure to share that with the community. Well, our superintendent did allude that an officer shot his weapon because he feared that the vehicle was either going to harm him or the students. Now, we have to back up and really unwind to get the full picture. What I don't understand is they say that this vehicle was in the parking lot. How did he get to the parking lot? Was it a side parking lot? I'm sure it wasn't the front on International, that very busy entrance. Was it the side parking lot by Motas Tacos on the side by the baseball field? How were those individuals able to get inside the premises? One, did they actually shoot, as stated by BISD police by Brownsville PD? They gave a timeline of events. Did they really do that? Were they able uh, to uh, to cause fear in the school? There are many questions that remain, and the thing, PR 101 is you wait to gather your facts, you make sure all your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed. It seems as if our district was so quick on, which rightfully so, which to cause people not to panic. Why? Because social media was buzzing. People wanted to know what is going on. We've heard of a middle school being on lockdown. Is that true? The ISD came out and stated, that everybody was safe. Here we have the vehicle that was ultimately caught. So there was a small pursuit. Now, again, the question remains: did the officer shoot right after he saw that vehicle shooting? Was there even a shot that was fired? Did this officer shoot his weapon? Was he trigger happy? Here we have Brownsville Police Chief, along with our mayor and board president for BISD, giving the media a rundown of what happened. There are three individuals that were ultimately apprehended. But nonetheless, many questions remain. Did this officer shoot? Did this officer shoot the car because the car was headed towards him and was going to hit him and he feared for his life? Maybe there were students around. Did he discharge his weapon in front of others? Were other people put at risk because of the officer? But again, we're not, and again, it's easy to play Monday morning quarterback. And based on the tragic events from Uvalde, many applaud our officer. Again, the details are very slim, but what we hear is that he took action, something that Uvalde law enforcement officials didn't at that time. We will hold judgment. There is protocol. Once an officer discharges his weapon, there is an investigation. There is a psych eval, if I'm not mistaken. Just again, that's normal protocol. But we still are with that question: when were shots fired? Again, based on the timeline from the police, at 8:54, a car stolen. 5 minutes later, they get a call to assist the ISD, where shots fired at Porter, and there was a pursuit. It doesn't mention, Brownsville PD does not mention when the officer discharged his weapon. Dr. Rene Gutierrez, at the start of the ISD press conference, he's the one that stated there was an incident in question where the officer discharged his weapon because he feared for his life. He feared for the safety of those around him. Again, nothing against the officer. He took action. It's just unfortunate that it happened. That it happened on the first day of school. Also, they were stating that BISD released a press release that stated that there was an incident at Porter. Everybody was okay, but there was no lockdown. There is no lockdown at Perkins. But that's contrary to what we saw. And the power of technology, ladies and gentlemen, the power of social media is very big. And that's something that these entities don't really understand. Many had questioned and said, hey, well, we saw a video of some armed men at Perkins. Is this true? Well, there was no lockdown. There was no lockdown at Perkins, according to the ISD. So take a look at this picture, ladies and gentlemen. These are 4 FBI agents. They're not civilians. They're not patriots. They're not Republicans trying to take back the election. Oh, this is at Perkins Middle School. These are 4 federal agents. If you see the first one with the ball cap, he's strapped and ready to go. Again, Uvalde is still very fresh in our minds. These men, they're gonna take action, and this was at Porter High School. The ISD has failed in regards to communication with its community. Instead of keeping us up to date, instead of dotting your T's, crossing your T's, dotting your I's, we are quick to release information just to weather the storm, just to burn out that flame, it seems. But shouldn't we get with all our law enforcement officials, have a discussion, a roundtable before we actually go to the community? Let's get our facts straight. And then they blame us. They blame us on the media for saying, oh, y'all are spreading lies, y'all are spreading misinformation. It'd be best if we got the proper information from BISD. I applaud our Brownsville police chief, Salceda. He did an amazing job. That guy is a professional. The way he speaks, the way he conducted himself, he is top notch. And we are grateful that this Brownsville police officer, and again, Brownsville's going to have a difficult task because there are some security officers that don't have weapons. Brownsville PD does. Should we work with the sheriff's department? Should we hire veterans? Should we look into that to make sure that our schools are tight lit, safe. BISD is a monster with over 40 plus schools. It is going to be expensive. You and I can agree that this money spent on the safety and well-being of our employees, of our staff, of our students in our community should be hailed with the highest regards. And that, my friends, is the rest of the story. The Inflation Reduction Act is it really gonna help us common folks, um, individuals wanting to buy a electronic vehicle will get a $7,500 credit. You and I can afford. I'll speak for myself. I can afford an electronic vehicle, and even if I did, there's still going to be a wash because Ford increased its prices for 8,000. They focus on climate change. Here at the Gulf, we're screwed. We're not getting any help. 87,000 IRS agents will be hired. You think they're going to target the rich? And even if they do target the rich, they have all the lawyers and accountants in the world. Mom and pop stores here in Brownsville, Texas, don't have that fortune. So the Inflation Reduction Act is going to target the middle class. Monkeypox. A case now has been detected in Cameron County. Make sure if you have flu-like symptoms, fevers, chills, pains, and aches, you go to your nearest clinic. Go to urgent care. Go to True Health Life clinic with Dr. Saavedra. Urgent care with Dr. Eder Hernandez. And if you want to be in the place in the city of Brownsville to have an amazing experience for brunch, join us in stopping by Morning Glory, which is located on Washington Street. It is better than Yummy's, better than Lola's, better than any brunch place out there. Try out a Saturday or Sunday. I guarantee you will be going every other weekend or as much as possible. And also officer shooting on the first day. Many questions remain. Were there actually shots fired at on campus? What was the reasons behind the officer firing his weapon? Was he in fear for his safety? Shouldn't BISD have taken a little bit longer time? It took them 2 hours from the incident to the press release, and it seemed as if they had no questions. Was it, how I say, too soon? We need to do a better job of communicating with our community. What is out in social media should be vetted, but for them to state that, don't focus on social media, you don't really calm the nerves of parents. And this is a great time for us to consider hiring veterans, getting in partnership with our Cameron County Sheriff's Department. That way we can make sure that each and every school within BISD is tight-lit for the better well-being of our community. It is Wednesday, August 17th, 7:39 a.m. Thank you so much for your time and your patience. I hope to see you here on Wednesday. Have a great hump day!